Y'alls, welcome back to the Solomon Project, where it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep that counts. I'm your host, Richard Burns. Hey there, Sunflower. Hello. Welcome in, guys. If if for some reason your hygiene ain't up to par, listen. In the description below, go check out Tara Helms. She's got the greatest handmade soap in the world. And also, if you're feeling aches and pains, you don't need to go any further because in the description below, we have the All Bomb Lady. She can take care of all that. There are 3 links to 3 separate brokerages that you can pick from. I still haven't received the one from Robinhood. But you got Moomoo. You've got, geez, I forget the name of them. You got Weeble. And you have one more. Acorn. Of the 3, Acorns is set it and forget it. Tomorrow will be my last sad photo. Why is that? Thank you, Sunflower. And yes, shout out to Stitch Monkey for creating the merch. At some point in time in the future, I will be distributing merch to key personalities that come on the Saturday Night Live with regularity. So are you aware? There's a big deal going on with these data centers. So the data centers have to get built, and those data centers are for aiding the expansion and efficiency of AI. AI is going to happen. AI is going to happen. There's just too much money being pumped into AI right now. And AI is not producing the type of cash flow it needs to justify the relationships that it has with a variety of companies. That's going to take time, but they got to produce. And throughout OpenAI, they got to produce. There's a lot of money that was pumped into that, and data centers are key. Now, data centers don't produce a lot of jobs. Maybe to build them, you might need people to do the construction, but once the construction is done, you need little to no people. All right, Sunflower, take care, stay fresh, keep it profitable. And I don't even know if y'all can hear me. So I got to do my quick little check to make sure that y'alls can hear what I'm saying. So as I check, I will continue. And with these data centers, perfect. I heard myself. With the data centers need a lot of electricity. So they need a lot of energy. They need a lot of water. They need a lot of clean water. And Memphis, Tennessee, for example, Memphis, Tennessee is seeing an increase in their electric bills because to power up that the one that they have built in was it Elon? Yeah, Elon had one of those data centers built in Memphis, Tennessee. It's already causing problems within the community. Hey, Brandon. And there's some political shenanigans going on in association with the building of these not just the building of the data centers, but um, these relationships that are going on between certain companies and AI and Anthropic and uh, these digital coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. These cryptocurrencies that are being created by members of the government, it's a way of doing shady business. You see, when you transfer money, when you do some kind of exchange with dollars, for example, when you purchase something overseas or purchase something somewhere else, that money gets transferred from your account to somebody else's account in another part of the world. But that money doesn't just leave. That money goes through a process. It goes through a verification process, multiple verifications to make sure that that the money was acquired by legal means, and that it's also being transferred through legal means and being received for legal purposes. But with cryptocurrency, you don't have all those checks. It just goes right through. So that can be a problem if national security is a question. National security. Yeah. You can bribe our politicians through cryptocurrency, which is effectively what is being accused of certain politicians. Will leave them nameless. But that's the deal. So AI is pushing forward. And AI doesn't learn like people think AI is learning. AI just gets better at putting pieces of the puzzle together. They don't create the pieces. AI doesn't create the pieces. It just acknowledges the existence of all the pieces. Every day it acknowledges more pieces. And as it acknowledges more pieces, it develops a way of putting pieces together. And what it does do is become more efficient. Oh, see, they're trying to build a. So Brandon is telling us that they're trying to build a power station west of where he is. It'll drain the aquifer with the amount of water use. Yeah, that's a serious issue. That's a serious problem. So areas of the country where acquiring water is not as efficient as other places, and those data centers are built there, they're going to have a problem. Remember, they use clean water. They use clean water. So are you aware of that? However, no matter what, AI is coming. You see, AI is not just something that companies here are trying to pursue. Countries throughout the world are trying to achieve AI efficiency, AI dominance, like China's trying to acquire AI dominance now. A company like OpenAI, which is not publicly traded, is doing deals with corporations like Oracle, for example. And Oracle got ahead of its skis. Oracle, which was already leveraged, decided to go beyond the already leveraged situation that they're in and borrow even more money to strike a deal with OpenAI. By the way, OpenAI is the one that does ChatGPT. They're the ones that have ChatGPT. So Oracle is in this competition with other corporations that are trying to tap in with OpenAI so they can be the top controller of that business, so that when it does come out as a publicly traded company, they will have a huge amount of shares, a huge amount of control over OpenAI. But they borrowed a ton of money to build new data centers, and they were not able to achieve building new data centers at the pace that they promised OpenAI. As a result, when that was released to the general public, the shares of OpenAI, now of Oracle, I'm sorry, it just collapsed. I'm going to try to locate Oracle. Yeah, no problem. Let's look for Oracle. Let's go over here, Oracle stock. This is the 1-day chart. Let me see what the yeah, see, here we go. Let me try to expand this chart so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I don't see where I can expand it, but go ahead and share this on the screen. So here's Oracle, the chart for Oracle. And as you can see, it's been taking a hit. Let me narrow it down to a month. Yeah, see this big dip here. This is as a result of them not being able to fulfill their obligation to build. Hey, Daniel Berry. So they weren't able to build the new data centers as promised to Oracle. Oracle desperately needs new ones so they can start creating the necessary cash flow to prove to everyone who's been dumping money into them that they will be able to pay this back, because that the money that's being dumped into OpenAI is not a gift. So they got to come, everybody has to come through in order for them to be able to get, or rather, Oracle, OpenAI has to come through by proving that they can acquire the money necessary, and it doesn't matter how they get it. But right now, they're falling very short. And it's the reason why some people fear that OpenAI is going to provide the market, the stock market, with a situation that existed back in 2000 with the tech bubble. And some people are expressing a fear, although that fear may not be warranted, because back in 2000, there were corporations that were doing the same thing that they're doing now with their circular deals, but they didn't have the type of cash necessary to be able to defend themselves in the event of a technology crash. Now they do, but that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be people that are going to lose out, or corporations that are going to lose out. There will be. So these data centers, I'm going to check and see if I can look into that. Memphis, Tennessee. Here we go. Memphis, Tennessee data center problems. Okay, so here we go. Let me read it off for you guys, just in case you're traveling. So Memphis Data Center Problem Center on AI's South Memphis, specifically its use of unpermitted methane gas turbines. So that's not good. Unpermitted. So they don't have a permit for this. Methane gas turbines that emit smog-forming pollutants. I think that's nitrous oxide and formaldehyde, and it's worsening air quality in an already pollution-burdened, predominantly Black community, leading to health concerns, cancer, asthma. That's not good. And legal challenges from groups like the Southern Environmental Law Center and the NAACP, who argue it's environmental injustice. Residents report smelling fumes and experiencing health issues, while AI claims to use pollution controls and plans to reduce reliance on the turbines. They want to reduce that reliance, okay? So they say, though community skepticism remains high. Of course, it remains high. That's nothing unusual. When you run into situations where corporations want to pursue something, and I had said this before on this channel, look, corporations prefer a desperate population, because a desperate population will be willing to do more things in favor of the corporations than they would if they had a more balanced economical situation. But that stuff does not work in favor of the corporations. Deregulation works for them, because with deregulation, there's no government that can back up like that community in Memphis. You would need something strong enough to fight against a corporation that doesn't care about the community and is willing to do anything for profit. And the one thing that has historically been able to step in has been the government. And that happens through politics. So when people say that politics, they'd rather stay out of it, or the professor had mentioned this before, you can't get around the fact that politics are necessary. Call it a necessary evil if you want, but it's through politics that things have changed. Is it slow? Extremely slow. Does it work the way you want it to? No. No. Politics does not work the way you want it to. In politics, people are marketers. That's what they are. They say things, politicians say things, and they have people writing for them so that they can repeat whatever was written for them. But these people are professionals in the field of communications. They know that they can say things. Hey, Brandon.
How's it going?
Feeling lovely.
Awesome. I'm just getting over colds though. I'm not doing too
Oh, okay. So they know how to say things because they have an idea of how people will perceive what's being said. They'll know what type of words to use and in what order. And they'll have an understanding as to how people are going to interpret what they're hearing. They can be off. They could be totally off. But if it's going to move the needle in favor of the politician, it doesn't matter. Okay? If you heard a politician promise you certain things, well, you should already know. And if you don't know, let me tell you right now, a politician can promise you whatever they want. Well, are they going to be able to achieve it? The politician that's saying it himself doesn't even know if he's going to be able to achieve it. Because when a politician goes to work, they have to negotiate with other politicians. And everyone that they're negotiating with, they're going to use whatever leverage they have, even if they're in the same party.
Yes.
They're going to use whatever leverage they have. So that politician that promised you, okay, he's not explaining to you that, well, I got to go and I got to debate this with somebody from the same party, but he's from a different town
or a different state or something. Yeah.
Well, look at Memphis, right? So
Yeah.
Memphis needs their politicians to step up and protect them against these data centers and the consumption of these data centers.
Yeah. Didn't they have one in South Carolina? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry. Didn't they have one in South Carolina too? Or North Carolina?
I'm not sure. But now think about it. What about the residents of Nashville? That's a different district altogether. They don't cover Memphis. So the representative from Memphis is going to want help, is going to want backup, is going to want the governor of Tennessee to do something about this data center that's consuming huge amounts of water, that is driving electric bills up for everybody in Memphis. But the one in Nashville is saying, wait a minute, that's not our problem. Hold on, we're on the same team. We're both Democrats or we're both Republicans. That's not my problem. My constituents want something else. Yep. That's what I'm going to push. But we're on the same team. It doesn't matter. I'm here for my constituents. Wink, wink. Not really. I'm actually here for whoever donates big for my campaign. And whoever donates big for my campaign might be the very tech CEO that not only doesn't want to interfere with the data center with Memphis, they may want to build one in Nashville itself. So now what? But it's the only way. See, that politician has to figure out a way to negotiate with whoever covers Nashville or whoever covers another part of Tennessee or another part of the country, so that they can try to group together and try to push regulations or laws, whatever, to try to combat that. But that's not easy because, like I said, every politician has a responsibility for whatever corporation or billionaire is pumping money into their campaigns. So it's not, but the ones that write the speeches for these politicians, they understand the intricacies and the nuances of what to write. They know how people are going to respond. You want a bigger impact against those data centers in Memphis? Let's talk about babies getting sick. Oh, that's it. You put a baby in the sentence? Oh my God, this is it. How is this happening? Lord have mercy, Lord help us. A child. It may not be the case. They might be less affected than the adults because the adults might have a more compromised immune system than the child, depending on what it is.
Actually, babies and elderly people have the weakest immune system.
Okay.
Children, and because by the time you're adults like our age, we built up immunities.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so the weakest people are the because that's what they teach you, food safety. You know,
right.
you and I may be able to eat a rare hamburger, but you know, a baby or an elderly person, it might make them really sick, you know?
Right. Okay.
So
yeah. So I got it backwards, so just flip it around. They're gonna use whatever part of the demographic that they feel will impact you emotionally.
Yeah.
And get you on the side of whoever side they want you to be on.
And they're going to target different areas and stuff like that. And they're going to have different ads in different areas and different, you know, for the same person, you know.
So you mentioned that they're trying to build a power station to the west of where you are.
That's what my mother was saying. And that it was gonna see, Florida's not too keen on the environment lately, you know. I mean, they did that whole thing with the alligator Alcatraz. They popped it up because of the state of emergency that we're in, you know. It's the only reason they were able to do it. You
state
know,
of emergency? What state of emergency?
Oh, all the immigrants here. We were under state of emergency for a while, so that's why they were able to get away with it.
That's why they declared a state of emergency?
Yes, sir. It was, yeah. And they got away. They got through a lot of loopholes with that. So, yeah, they didn't have to get. Normally, when you build in a protected area or in an area like the Everglades where this was made, there's a lot of environmental stuff that you have to look through. I mean, there may have been endangered toad that lived there.
Right.
You know what I mean? There could be anything, and you have to have studies, and you have to have independent studies. You know, and nope, right out the window. Didn't have to do that for this thing. You know. So the one in Memphis, the what I wanted to ask you is that the one that Elon Musk has, the AI place?
Yes.
Okay, so then it wasn't. I was thinking Carolinas, but I guess it is over there because I heard that the loopholes that they were getting away with was their turbines and their power generators that they were using go through a loophole because they're on trailers and they're temporary structures. They're not considered permanent. So
Who can fight
that's why
that?
they,
Who can
yeah.
fight that? You think the average citizen from Memphis, they don't have the financial means to take this thing to court to fight this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to do like what ends up happening is a lot of people are going to get affected, usually in poor neighborhoods or something like that, because that's where they kind of tend to do all the factory work that causes damage and do things like that, you know, and you end up just having to do a class action suit or something like that. But you got to be able to prove it, and that's where the issue
And that
is.
costs money.
But not only that, by the time that happens, they're knowingly, you know, putting chemicals or whatever, and they know it's going to make people sick, but they're not going to be able to do anything about it until you're already sick. You know, once you got lung
Right.
cancer, it's like it's or whatever. You know what I
It's a
mean?
little too late, huh?
Yeah. Now your life is screwed. And what
And
good is
that's
the
why,
in all honesty, what good is the money? You know, what good's the
absolutely.
money when you got 6 months to live?
And that's why the average citizen can't fight corporations, but the government can.
Yes.
And the government can create the necessary regulations and laws to stop that and prevent future harm.
To protect us, to protect the citizens.
Yeah. But you got libertarians that want less government.
Mm-hmm. Less regulations, less. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't mind
less,
regulations.
less involvement through government oversight.
Yeah. But like you said, what are you going to do about it? Not much. Max. Oh, Max is excited. I just got home a little bit ago. Brought my nephew to work with me today.
Oh, how was that?
He did awesome. He did awesome. He came yesterday to help us during the busy time. And, you know, my friend Nellie that I work with, the girl who does the sandwiches, she got really sick and she's been in the hospital for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And she'd make sandwiches and she does the cold side. She basically works with me during the lunch. And being that she wasn't here and we're very busy because it's, you know, getting near Christmas time and everybody's coming in. Justin stepped up. My nephew stepped up and he was like, I put him right I said, hey, I'll just show him how to do it. And he did an awesome job, man. Yeah.
You banged it out, huh?
Yes, he did. He impressed everybody there.
Is
But
there
he
some
also
kind of,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. I want to ask you a question afterwards.
No, ask now.
Is there some kind of cootie floating around in Florida right now? I overheard that there was some stuff going on in the South.
There is, let's just put it this way. Half of the people, I've been a week now, I've had a congestion. And there's people going around. I'm going to say half of my work has been in and out sick, you know, and I don't know if it's cold or flu related or anything like that. But like I said, Nellie wasn't feeling good. And she ended up in the hospital because her fever was so high. And she was in there for the next day too. And when she was in last night, I told, you know, my boss, Bill, I said, Nellie's not here. I said, I guess I'll show my nephew how to do sandwiches. And I was just working on him doing that, you know.
You
But
were
I don't know.
explaining about what he was doing, and he just picked it up and ran with it, huh?
Yeah. Well, he's good because, well, he lives with my parents. And my father was a chef. My mother's a cook. They're the ones that taught me. You know what I mean? He's at my house. Every time he asks me, Unky, how do I make this? How do I make eggs Benedict? Okay, come here, I'll show you. So every time he's over, he loves to cook. So he's not a stranger to it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
my
He
dad
knows
was
his
in the
way around the
industry.
kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not a professional kitchen, but one enough. I didn't have to show him how to hold a knife. This was his very first job ever, you know? And I didn't have to show him. Normally, you got to show somebody, hey, look, you got to curl your fingers so you don't cut them. You got,
Yeah. My brother taught me that. Yeah.
yeah, there's like little things that you have to show somebody when you're, he had all that down already. So he already had, let's just say, a year of being in a professional kitchen down. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And you can go, if you watch my very first video, Bill does 45 onions. He chops them on a counter. No, he does not 45 onions. I'm sorry. He does like 10 onions and he juliennes them in 45 seconds with his eyes closed. And that was my first video that I uploaded on YouTube just for shits and giggles. And yeah, it was him. And he just went down the line and because his fingers are curled, he knows he's not going to cut his fingers. He just had to keep feeling the onions and going down the line. And yep, you know, so that was pretty neat. It's fine. It's kind of you. Okay, you were breaking in and out when I was listening to you before I went on live with you. But Bill, or one of the things that I've learned that I do when I have a new guy in the kitchen is the first thing I do is I ask him how to dice an onion. And if they can dice an onion, I watch them. I don't let them know I'm watching them, but I'm watching to see how they do it. And if they do it like, there's a certain way that you dice an onion to get it quick, efficient, out of the way, a professional way. But if they don't do it that way, it's like, all right, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on this guy, But this guy never even knows that he went through a little test. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Interesting, huh?
It is. I'm trying to switch it up here because I want to locate
Sure
your
thing.
channel so
My
I can
what?
see that video. Trying to locate your channel so I can see that video.
Oh yeah, it's the oldest video. It's the oldest short. I've done quite a few shorts since then.
For some
Yeah, it was
reason,
like
your channel ain't popping up. Why is that?
no idea. Oh, I didn't even share this out to my audience. Let's do that real quick. Should be showing up. You were blotchy. I don't know if you're in a good internet area.
Am I still blotchy?
No, you haven't been in the last 10 minutes, or you haven't been. Let me rephrase that. You haven't been blotchy since I've been live with you.
Well, I think you fixed it. Thank you.
Or it's just me and you talking to each other and we're frozen.
Right.
For the rest of the world.
No, for some reason. I'm going to have to search you through here.
Uh-oh.
What, did I freeze?
No, that new feature where I get the horizontal and the vertical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just switched it over to that. I don't like that. I want one or the other. I guess we'll
I can
roll
hide
with
it. Look, I can hide it. Did it hide on your end?
No. How'd you do it? Maybe I could do it on this end.
So there's a spot. Okay, so when you're on StreamYard,
Hide vertical preview. There it goes. I see it. Bam. I got it. I just hit the little 3 dots there.
put that sucker out. I'm not gonna be on for too long. Probably another 19 minutes.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's all bueno.
I literally just shot you out, so we might get some people in. I see Sunflower's in. Hi, Sunflower.
Sunflower's in. She's happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too. I'm happy to see you too. I've got another crazy week, and then I'm going to settle down on January 4th, I think, is when we start to really slow down. But we're just starting to pick up. We'll hit the peak the 26th.
Okay.
The day after Christmas. That's when it'll just be insane.
Yeah, the professor put up an interesting video about gift giving during the holidays. And
I started to watch that, and then I got a phone call, and I never got to rewatch it. But yeah, go ahead. Please continue.
Yeah, so for me, the holidays, the important thing about the holidays is not the purchasing of goods. It's not the purchasing of materials. Unfortunately, our holidays are commercialized to encourage people to go ahead and spend money, purchase gifts on those days. I'm a believer that if you need something, like, for example, if you needed a brand new knife, I'm not going to wait for your birthday. I'm not going to wait for Christmas for you to get that knife. If you need that knife now, I'm going to purchase that knife for you right now. If I feel that you're in the tight spot and you can't get your knife when you need it, then if my intention is to provide for you, then I'm not going to wait for birthdays or Christmas or any of that. You need it now, you get it now.
Yeah, that's for adults. You know.
Yeah, even because in her video she was talking about a woman that was training her child.
Oh yes, yeah, I did remember this. Yeah,
not to be dependent upon
gifts,
something material to enhance that experience.
Mm-hmm.
To enhance it. The most wonderful thing about the holidays is when it brings family and friends together.
I agree.
That's the most important thing. And if you want to include some kind of ritual, it should be something that reminds you of a history. For example, someone who spent time in prison may want to create a ritual where they express their gratitude for being free by making a meal that they would have made in prison when they were locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And sharing that experience with everybody as part of a ritual. Mm-hmm. It could be New Year's, it could be whatever.
I have a trail. Have you ever heard of the Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. From Canada. Okay. So I sent a clip. I don't know if I sent it to you or not. But it was about the Christmas, and he was at a speech at like some type of public gathering, or not public gathering, like a town meeting or something like that. Or no, it was church. It was church. Everybody's sitting in the pews, and he got up and he says, "Listen, I just want to tell you guys, I spent the last 3 Christmases in prison or locked up. And it was the best 3 Christmases of my life, because it was just me and my buddies hanging out and getting drunk and stoned. See, with friends and family." He says that's what it's about. It's not about anything else. It's about hanging out with friends and family, getting drunk and stoned. And he's like, and then he looks in the church and he goes, "How many of y'all are drunk right now? Come on, raise your hands." And a couple people are raising their hands, and he goes, "How many of you guys are stoned? You're in church. You can't lie." And then it goes over, and one of the deacons and the choir boys are raising their hands. That's a great show, man.
Yeah. So, you gotta love that.
But to another point that you were making, though, is like today, my nephew was with me. And we were on break, and he said, "Well, my feet are hurt." And I said, "Well, what shoes are you wearing?" And he's like, "Well, Grandma gave me this from Walmart." And I'm like, "Oh, those Walmart shoes that they make you wear at these jobs, they cost like $20. Problem is after about a month, for him, they didn't even last 2 days. They start hurting your
Wow.
feet
Wow.
because they're very bad quality. The reason is that they recommend them. Companies get an insurance break because of the slip resistant bottom on them.
Right.
Okay. But they're not. And in fact, most companies require non-slip shoes. Those are the easiest to afford, the easiest to get. They don't feel good on your feet. When
Where's
you're
the
in a
best place to
kitchen,
get 'em?
you go to a workplace. I get mine from Red Wing Shoes.
Red Wing.
They're a
Yeah.
company. They're out of Michigan, and they've got good boots. They're expensive, and but they'll last you a year and a half for me, because I only use them for 6 months out of the year. So I'm getting literally a year and a half. So I'm getting 2 years. I'm getting a whole full year out of usage out of them. So I took him over to Red Wing today. We have a Red Wing store by us. Got him a pair of shoes. He put those on, and he was like, "Oh wow."
What a difference.
He's like, "I'll pay you when I get my first." I said, "No, that's your Christmas present, buddy. Don't worry about it." You know
There you go. Something he needed.
exactly.
And you didn't wait till the 24th or the 25th, whenever it is.
No, his feet were hurting today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. See, I'm not and not only that, they always jack up the prices
Mm-hmm.
for these holidays.
Mm-hmm.
They play these little games where before the holiday they jack up the price, and then they claim they're putting it on sale when the sale price is even higher than the original price before the holiday.
Yeah. I used to when I worked for the meat market one season, they would have ribs go on sale one week, buy one, get one free. All right. Well, the current price that they're going for now actually got raised the weekend before the sale happened,
Yeah.
from like $10 a pound to $20 a pound. Because I'm looking at the original price and I'm going, Jesus Christ, it's $23 a pound. No wonder they buy one, get one free. Because it's the same regular price,
Yeah.
They're just doing it to move the product. But as long as the consumer walks out with a smile and a sense of savings, they're good to go.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All the little tricks, all the little stunts.
I
That
used to,
emotional attachment.
yep. I used to date this girl, and she would go out something, and she'd come in with all these bags. Say, "How much did you spend?" She says, "Well, let me tell you how much I saved." And I said, "No. That's not what I asked.
Oh, the trap. The trap.
That's not what I asked you."
That's the trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy one, buy two, get one free. Oh, I saved money. No, you didn't, because you bought more than what you intended to buy.
Mm-hmm.
You went in there and you were going to
spent
buy
more.
one. But if you buy one, you get the other one free. Oh, you buy two, you get one free. No, you spent more than what you were.
And then you came home with 10.
Right. Right. Oh, I saved tons of money. No, you didn't. You spent more than you were intending upon spending.
Mm. Yeah. It's funny
Or
because
you went and bought something that you didn't need at the time because the price. Hey, Lisa J. Lisa's got an amazing channel, y'all. Lisa's got an amazing channel.
Lisa J Stocks. I'm assuming it's about stocks.
It is. It is. And the way she does it, it's encouraging and professional.
Does she have
Yes,
any
sir.
comments on any of your videos that I can click and go check her out?
Let me see. Let me put it up. Let me see if I can show you.
If I go into chat, maybe. Oh, it's studio chat.
Lisa J, can you
Lisa,
put your channel on the comments? Let me see if you can't
Lisa
do it
J
right.
Stocks, is that your link? Is that your channel link?
That's her channel. Yep, Lisa J Stocks.
Okay. Because some people have different names when they go into comments, then you know what I mean? I might actually be able to click her because I'm a mod. Oh wow, it's asking if I want to show her. I didn't know I could post comments on stage. Maybe it's just on my end, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Can I try something? I'm gonna try to post her and show her on stage. Let me know. Let's see if it goes on yours as well. Oh, it's not
Yep,
going
that's
anywhere.
exactly what it is. Look.
Is it? I can't see. Hang on. Lisa J Stock. Okay, just Lisa J Stocks at. It's blurry. Sorry. But I'll check Lisa out.
Check her out, man. She does a good job. Really good job. Very impressed.
Well, if you're recommending
Hello,
her,
Marty.
I'm intrigued.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
She does stuff on her channel that I don't do on mine. So
Okay.
it's extremely helpful. You know, I gatekeep. Well, by the way, round of applause for one of the subs who I'm happen to teach. I'm teaching options trading, right? Let's give her a round of applause. She's not here right now, but yeah, there you go. The one-handed applause. So this is her second trade. This is her second trade, and she won both trades. I'm going to call it winning.
Yeah, I get you. I understand what you meant.
This particular trade expired worthless. Sounds crazy, but because she opened her trade with a sell, expiring worthless is something that you hope to achieve. Now, I don't encourage people to take their trade all the way to expiration, but I was carefully monitoring the trade that she made and realized that it was going to happen. It was going the contracts, because options are contracts, and they have an expiration date. And this particular contract that she opened with a sell approached the expiration date, which was
you're frozen.
Stock was at was well above her strike price. That's what they call it, a strike price. That's the price you choose. And she was able to allow the contract to expire worthless, so she got to keep 100% of whatever she received for that sale.
Mm-hmm.
It can get crazy in the world of options because there are a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have a mentor that can help guide you through the process. Matter of fact, I was just talking about someone whose brokerage allowed them to do short sales. Now, short sales are not the same as doing an option.
is it similar to real estate short sales?
No.
Okay.
Hey, squirrels.
Hey, squirrel.
So here's the thing, and this is where some people get confused. Not so much when it's explained to you, you can understand what's being said, but when it's time to execute, sometimes people get confused and wind up losing more money than they should, or losing money, period.
Yeah.
So the short sale, okay, it goes against what your brain is wired as far as a business transaction goes. For example, if you want to sell knives, you buy the knife from the manufacturer,
Uh-huh.
you add enough to the price so that you make a profit, and then you sell it. So basically, which is what's commonly said is that you buy low and sell high.
Yes, I've heard that.
Everybody's brain is wired for that.
Yeah.
Doing business, you buy low and then you sell high. And that's the same thing that happens with I don't think so. Ashanti, are you 6 years old? Well, welcome. I'm explaining what a short sell is in the stock market. So here's the thing. So you got two things going on that confuse people. Number one, you're selling something you don't own. That's the first thing. That's one thing that gets people a little confused about.
Yeah.
Another thing is that you make a profit when the price of the stock goes down. That's another confusing element. So how does this all happen? When you open up an account with a brokerage, you're going to want margin. They're going to ask you, do you want a margin account? And you say yes, you want a margin account. By the way, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. It's not investment advice either. So you say yes, you want a margin account. So what margin is another word for loan. So you can borrow.
Gotcha.
It's a little different. Like, let's say, and you have to reach a certain threshold. Most brokerages, once you reach $2,000, it opens up the ability for you to be able to borrow. Now you have a choice. You can borrow money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you've got $2,000 in your account. Well, the brokerage is going to lend you another 2,000 or maybe another 1,000, whatever it is. So you can borrow that 1,000 or 2,000 and purchase more shares of what you were looking at. Great.
And that's based on your original 2,000 is collateral, or
no, it's not collateral.
Essentially, okay.
It's not collateral. It's just a threshold.
It's just a loan.
Yeah, it's just a threshold that you need to reach in order for them to give you access to this margin.
Take you seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you borrowed that 1,000 or 2,000 and you purchase more shares of the stock you were interested in. Cool. Of course, they lend you that money and there's an interest attached to that money because it is a loan, right? Could be 6%, could be 5%, whatever. But for the whole year. There are strategies where you can reduce and help lower how much comes out of your pocket, actually. But I'm not going to get into that. Now, what I am going to say is
keep it as simple as possible.
They don't just lend you cash. Like I said, shares? Yes, they do. They lend you shares because if you want to do a short sale, what you're going to borrow are shares. And the order of operations that used to be buy low, sell high, notice that you're buying first and then you're selling. So when you do a transaction in the stock market, it's got in order for you to realize a gain or a loss, you got to do two separate things. You got to buy and you got to sell, right? You bought a stock at $100. It goes up to $200. You want a realized profit. It's not realized until you sell it.
Yeah. I got
Once
that.
you sell it, that's a realized gain. If you don't sell it, it's an unrealized gain. You're still gaining, but it's not realized because you haven't done the other part of the operation. If you buy, you got to sell. Well, now, if you're short selling, you're not going to buy first. You're going to sell first. So if the first thing you did was sell,
then you wait till it to get to the amount of money where you're making a profit.
And then you have to do what?
Then
you sold first.
It. Yeah.
Say it. Go ahead, say it.
Buy it.
There you go.
And then you buy it.
Right, because that's the other side of the operation.
Uh-huh.
Here's where people get a little confused sometimes. They sell the stock for $100. That's the first thing they do. They sell it first. You don't own those shares, but the brokerage lends you those shares.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want the price to go up or down?
If you're selling them for $100, you want the price to go down because then you're gonna pocket the difference.
Right. So let's say
you're already getting paid $100. So if it's $30 a share, you're actually
here's what happens. You bought it at 100. It goes down to 70. You figure, okay, this is the best time to buy it back. So you buy it back. When you buy it back, what does the brokerage take?
So if you buy it back at 70, the brokerage gave you a loan. Wait, the brokerage gave you a loan for 100, right? No, it gave you a loan for one share.
It loaned you shares.
It gave you a loan of the share, so it's depending on what time that you're doing it.
So what's the broker going to want back?
$70. So you're pocketing 30. Oh.
They don't want $70. They didn't lend you money.
No, they want one share. So you give them back the share.
They want the shares. Yes.
At $70, and then you're pocketing $30.
They don't care. They don't care. They don't care how much the shares are when they take it back.
Gotcha.
They're not concerned with that. They want their shares back.
Mm-hmm.
They loaned you shares. They want the shares back.
Gotcha.
So you made the difference. You sold it at 100, bought it back at 70. That's a $30 difference. You keep those 30.
Yep. Gotcha.
So you made money when something did the opposite of what your brain is wired
to
100%. Do. So you just made $30 when the price of the share went down, not up.
That's cool. But like you said, you're programmed. You got to program yourself to think.
You got to reprogram your brain.
In shares, not money.
And you got to be careful with short selling. A good example of how disastrous short selling could be was with GameStop.
Yeah. I remember that debacle.
So with GameStop, you got these hedge funds and these institutional investors all going in against GameStop because GameStop's fundamentals were looking terrible. So this corporation, these shares look like they were gonna go down and hard. Yeah. So the institutional investors and after I explain, I'm gonna get off. the institutional investors and the hedge funds, well, hedge funds are institutional investors anyway, but they started short selling knowing that the price of the stock is going to go down. But it stopped going down and it started going back up. What the hell? What happened? This is what happened. Somebody on Reddit did some math. They saw how many shares were being short sold, right? We'll just use a round number. They saw that 100 million shares are being shorted. 100 million shares are being shorted. And they looked around and checked GameStop and realized, wait a minute, GameStop doesn't even have 100 million shares. GameStop has 50 million shares outstanding. In other words, circulating.
Yeah.
Somebody got it wrong. Somebody got the math wrong. There are too many shares that are being sold that don't exist. Whoever that was, they said, okay, because these people were selling this stock short, the stock went down, and we're just going to use a round number from 100 down to 50.
Yeah.
The guy that did the homework calls his buddies and says, you're not going to believe this. I just checked this out. I just did the math. Not only am I going to tell you guys about this so that you can go in and start buying, but I'm going to go on Reddit and tell the whole world. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens? The price stops dropping. All of a sudden, it goes from, remember, it was at 100, went down to 50. All of a sudden, it goes from 50 to 51, then to 52. Oh, now it's at 57. What's happening with all those institutional investors? Holy smokes. You guys seeing this? We better get the hell out of this thing. So if they sold it first, they have to buy it back. And as they're buying back, what's going on with the price of GameStop? It's going up, and it's going up fast. So all these guys, this guy with all his friends and all these people on Reddit who were paying attention that bought at 50, all of a sudden they see the share price shooting up. And it's shooting up so fast that it goes beyond where it was when it was short sold. It goes beyond 100 a share. Now it's going up to 200 a share. Now it's going up to 250 a share. And all these guys that bought in at 50 are making a fortune.
Yeah.
And it's all because the short sellers are experiencing a loss. And once they're not at a total loss yet, but once it hits $100 a share again and starts going above that, now they're experiencing a loss.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the price is shooting up so fast, they got to figure out a way to get out of this mess as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So they're buying in large quantities. So when you short sell, you got to be careful. Up. Yeah. And all those dudes that bought in at 50, they're like, yay.
Yeah. So my question is that public information?
Yeah, it is.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to look for it, yeah.
Yeah, the short sales and stuff like this. I'd like to tell you one more thing before you go. I know you want to leave, but
okay.
Oh, by the way, where are you tonight?
I'm near the border of Tennessee and Kentucky.
Well, I hope you ain't by those turbines. So.
Nowhere near that.
My wife went on, and there's a government website for unclaimed financial unclaimed property.
Right.
You know, it's the Department of Financial Services. So she goes on, And it's so funny that she gets herself on. She finds $900 that was owed from her from a company she worked for 20 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. She found one for me, and it was like $225. You know, something like that. And I said, "Well, what is it from?" She says, "It's from that Peter Pan account you had." I said, "I'm thinking Peter Pan account. What?" She's like, "Yeah, when you were messing with the stocks and stuff like that." I said, "Oh, the Robin Hood." So I have a. You remember I told you I had some money to play with, and I never, I had $500, I think. Well, you just got half of it back, just because I guess I don't know what happened, because I stopped doing it. I thought I lost all my money in it, so I was just like, all right, whatever. I guess
Yeah.
whatever stocks I bought went up, and
Liquidated.
then what's that?
Liquidated. Like WBA, that's Walgreens. Walgreens, um, they got off the publicly traded market. They became private. So as a result, if you own shares of Walgreens, they were going to convert your shares into cash. That might have been what happened.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Because I had a lot of companies, but they were mostly like, I was going into the medical field. I was investing. I was just doing like almost like day trading. You know what I mean? Because they never charged you for buying or selling. That's what I liked. It's like, oh, if I see a company that I think's gonna make some money, I'm gonna buy. That was my theory on the whole thing on how I
Yeah.
did. Come on, Max. Come on. All right. Anyways, all right. I just thought I would share that with you. But everybody
cool.
that's ever, especially our age, should be maybe look into it.
They should.
I could throw the number for the state of Florida at least. I don't know if
There
you
you
guys
go.
can see.
No.
Can you guys see that?
No.
8. All right.
I can put it on the screen.
850-413.
Go ahead. Say it again.
850-413-5555. Department of Financial Services, unclaimed property. It was interesting. I remember
hope
my
this-
father did it. My father did it about 10 years ago, and he worked for Coca-Cola when he was a teenager for a couple days and
Take a
never
look at
got
the
his
screen. Is
paycheck.
that correct? 850-413-5555.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, my dad had like a $27 paycheck from Coca-Cola from when he was a teenager. You know,
Nice.
it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep, you never know. You never know what you got floating around out there.
Yep. So let's call it a night then.
All right, it was good to see you, man. And
Same
I
here.
did talk to DeAndre earlier this week, and he said he was gonna try. He's just been going through some stuff, so
Yeah.
I told him he was missed.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
D-Lo Flow, happy Merry Christmas, D-Lo.
Yeah,
He
D-Lo.
says Merry Christmas to us.
Merry Christmas.
Kyle made it in.
So thanks everybody, and stay fresh and keep it profitable. And I'll see you next Saturday, or maybe in between. Sometimes I do that.
Maybe in between. Yeah.
All right,
We
fellas.
bump in.
Stay fresh
See
now.
you guys.
Keep it profitable.
Take care.